Now, a High Court ruling has found that the Met Police's actions in the run-up to the Sarah Everard vigil were not in accordance with the law.
Outside court, the solicitor representing the four women hailed the landmark win as a victory for women.
Today's judgment conclusively shows that the police were wrong to silence us. The decisions and actions by the Met Police in the run-up to the planned vigil for Sarah Everard last year were unlawful, and the judgment sets a powerful precedent for protest rights.
Well, let's talk to Peter Bleksley, former Scotland Yard detective. Really good to see you, Peter, as always. Look, did the Met get this so very wrong, do we think? I mean, why make the decision that they did?
Yes, clearly they got it dreadfully wrong. But this really cuts across what is a core problem with so much of policing. Policing is about control. It's a Saturday. So today they will be controlling people at football matches and on demonstrations, for example. They also control crime scenes, witnesses, suspects, each other. And when the police are confronted with a situation that they can't control, they don't like it. It unsettles them. And in this case, with this proposed and planned vigil, they got it wrong, plain and simple.
Just remind us, Peter, the background to this story, because it feels like a long time ago, but that might just be because we've had a very sort of busy news agenda. But this was the protest on Clapham Common during lockdowns, I think, or between lockdowns, where the scenes basically turned ugly.
It was, of course. This followed the appalling and dreadful abduction, rape and murder of Sarah Everard by Wayne Couzens, a serving Met police officer at the time, and an organisation to reclaim the streets decided to hold a vigil not only in Sarah's memory, but also to kind of garner some publicity and because of the worry about violence against women and girls. So it was a multi-purpose kind of gathering that was going to take place on Clapham Common in South London. At the time, there were Tier 4 restrictions in place because of the wretched coronavirus pandemic. And the Metropolitan Police decided that this was going to be an unlawful gathering, and so, in essence, they barred it. But the vigil went ahead nonetheless. It was a largely peaceful gathering, but the Met Police, in my opinion, were pretty heavy-handed in their policing of it. And we saw some very damaging images of women being held face down and handcuffed at a gathering that essentially was there to honour a murdered woman and call for action against violence against women.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not good optics, is it? I mean, but the problem is, Peter, that we do seem to be, the police at the minute, and the Met in particular, just seems to be getting kicking after kicking after kicking.
Yes, but that is with considerable justification. Only yesterday, a serving Met police officer was assaulted by battery because he headbutted a barman on a night out. The bad stories just keep coming. There is clearly something wrong amongst some officers with regards to their behaviour, the standards and the prevailing culture. Baroness Casey compiling a report into all of that. I await her findings with considerable interest, but something quite drastic and dramatic has to be done for the benefit of the good officers, because it's the good officers that are having the Met's reputation dragged through the mud.
Has something changed, Peter? Has something changed since your day, or is it just that more things are coming to light? Because it can't be, can it, that the Met is suddenly recruiting unsuitable people all of a sudden, surely?
Well, there's an awful lot that's changed about policing. In fact, in many regards, it's a completely different world from the one that I joined. But let's remember, when I joined in the late 70s, the Met Police was far from a perfect organisation then. And there will always be problems because it's populated by people and people are flawed sometimes. However, the problems run deep and they are multiple. There are concerns about recruitment, training, vetting, ongoing training. There are concerns about supervision. At the moment, so many officers are posted to the rank in an acting role. So a PC, for example, who works alongside his or her mates might suddenly get promoted to an acting sergeant. And you go from working alongside your mates to supervising them. And that is far from ideal. And that happens in other ranks as well. So these problems are not going to be solved with any kind of quick fix, but they really need to be for the benefit of the public. And as I say once again, for the good cops, of which there are very, very many.
Yeah, which is, is what people tend to forget, I think, in all of this. Peter, as always, it's good to talk to you. Thank you. Peter Bleksley there, formerly of the Metropolitan Police.